I'm Paul Zigo. This is Cinema for Cynics. The Stanford prison experiment is a frank, honest look at one of the most controversial and confusing psychological studies of all time. If you've ever taken an intro to psych class, your textbook probably led with it. College-aged male participants are separated into two groups, guards and prisoners, and placed in this makeshift prison built in a basement at the Stanford University campus. Over the course of 6 days, the guards seemed to naturally fall into a pattern of physical abuse and psychological torture, while the prisoners seemed to, for the most part, placidly accept it. Even the people running the study seemed swept up as they sat around for days watching while the abuse mounted and grew ever more sadistic. I can't think of a subject that I'd pass on quicker for a film. It sounds like something that just couldn't happen. Watching this movie was an exercise in controlling my own visceral reaction to what played out before me. I must have yelled, "Why don't you just leave? You aren't in prison," a dozen times throughout my viewing, even though I'm familiar with the study and how it played out. It's so unbelievable that I would have turned the movie off and found something else to do with my time, if not for the fact that this happened. I mean, sure, some creative liberties were taken to adapt the study to film, but the structure of the study and the principal events surrounding it are correct. I can't fault the performances here. Billy Crudup is good as Stanford psychologist and author of the study, Philip Zimbardo. And the lesser-known actors that make up the study participants all do a great job with what must have felt like horribly unnatural material. That said, the movie begins to feel like scene after scene of sadistic bullying, broken up only briefly by behind-the-scenes meetings and conversations of the people running the study. These scenes feel almost more incredulous than the endless scenes of abuse we see. People almost constantly voice their concerns to Zimbardo, but nobody stops it.
Those are not prisoners. Those are not subjects. Those are boys, and you are harming them.
Nobody pulls the plug as they see what's happening to the participants. None of the very real ethical missteps are ever taken past the point of a terse conversation. Until the end, of course, when Zimbardo finally comes to his senses and pulls the plug. Watching this film exhausted me. It did a pretty spectacular job of creating that emotional connection so many films shoot for and most fall short of. Unfortunately, the direction it pushed me was, "Fuck, man, when will this end?" rather than, "Holy shit, I can't wait to see what happens next." I wasn't bored, I was just weary of seeing these guys take shit from the prison guards. I wanted the film to end in a mass ass beating of the guards, then a quick trip up to Zimbardo's office to beat his ass as well, but that's not how things went down. In fact, the relative calm with which the study ends just serves to increase your exasperation. After 6 days, many of the participants were bewildered to learn that they were free to leave, and many of the prison guards seemed reluctant that their cavalcade of torture had come to an end. It's a far cry from the ending you'd expect, and further proof that truth really is stranger than fiction. This is not a bad movie. It's a good movie with an impossibly bad subject. Despite my exasperation, I remained totally engaged until the end. I think the questions raised by the study are just personally unsettling to me. I don't like to believe that my perception of myself as this generally good, decent guy could be stripped from me by something as simple as a change in the balance of power in my life, but knowing the results of the study, I'm forced to concede the possibility. My discomfort and your future discomfort notwithstanding, watch it. Just be aware of what you're getting into. And if you liked this, don't be an asshole prison guard. Subscribe, spread the word. Thanks.